We have featured an idea of how Charlie right now is trying to get along with his new IQ, and that he has already changed it, and everything for him is being better and is doing well. So, in progress report number 12 on April 28th, Charlie will start speaking by saying, I do not understand why I never noticed how beautiful Miss Kenyon really is. She has brown eyes and feathery brown hair that comes on the top of her neck. She's only 34. I think from the beginning I had the feeling that she was an unreachable genius and very, very old. Now, every time I see her, she grows younger and more lovely. We had dinner and a long talk when she said I was coming along so fast that soon I'd be leaving her behind. I laughed. It's true, Charlie. You are really a better reader than I am. You can read the whole page at a glance, while I can take it only a few lines at a time. And you read every single thing you read. I'm lucky if you can recall the main thoughts and the general meaning. I do not feel intelligent. There are so many things I do not understand. Yet you have got to be a little patient, because by being patient, you will be able to surpass anyone. You're accomplishing in days and weeks what it takes normal people to do in half a lifetime. So, and here comes the result of your probation. Charlie is becoming more and more and more intelligent than ever. He even surpassed some of the intelligent people he dreamed of being intelligent like him. That's what makes it so amazing. You are like a giant sponge now, soaking things in facts, figures, general knowledge, and soon you will begin to connect them. So, so far now, what's happening to Charlie? He is being better and better in each and every aspect because his IQ now is being tripled. You will see how different branches of learning are related. There are many levels, Charlie, like steps on a giant ladder that takes you up higher and higher to see more and more of the world around you. I can see only a little bit of that, Charlie, and I won't go much higher than I am, but you will keep climbing up and see more and more, and each step will open a new worlds that you never even knew existed. She frowned. I hope, I just hope to God. He asked what? Never mind, Charlie. I just hope I wasn't wrong to advise you to go into in the first place. Of course, by looking at that right now, we come to see that Charlie himself has changed, has varied. Everything about him has changed. Now he's becoming a new person, understanding more and more and acquiring more knowledge and information, and becoming smarter as no one. So he's surpassing all the people around him. Miss Kenyon, Dr. Strauss, Dr. Niemeyer, all the people he thought that they were smart are now not compared to him. And now there is something else that has grown along with his own IQ, which is his emotions. Now Charlie looks in the things differently because at first he just wanted to laugh with his friends. His friends made laugh of him. It's totally acceptable, no problem. But now after the probation, his own emotion has changed and grown. Consequently, this change in his emotion affected his relation to Miss Kenyon. Okay, guys. So far, so good. Grade 8. Calling from Earth. Hello.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so once again, Charlie's relation to Miss Kenyon has changed because now he's becoming smarter and smarter, and he started to fall in love with her, and she also started to fall in love with him. Yet she was just wondering whether what she has done by advising Charlie to get under that probation was right or wrong. I laughed. How could you that be? It worked, it didn't it? Even Algernon is still smart. We sat there silently for a while, and I knew what she was thinking about as she watched me toying with the chain of my rabbit's food and my keys. I didn't want to think of that possibility any more than elderly people want to think of death. Because now there is still a possibility that the change is only temporary, only for a few time, for a little time. Consequently, this might change. His IQ might go back to be normal, and he will become dumb once again, and all of that smartness will eventually fade. But he doesn't want to think about that because it's not okay, it's not good. All I need to think about is only I don't want to think about anything else but being with you right now. I knew that this was only the beginning. I knew that what she meant about levels because I'd seen some of them already. The thought of leaving her behind made me sad. I'm in love with Miss Kenyon. And this is one of the effects of the operation that drove them only also the emotions, not only the mind. Progress report number 12 in April 13th. Do we have any volunteers to read? Anyone is eager to read? Muhammad Nawaf Al Khayyat, for example.
Can I read, teacher?
Okay, RTB.
Paragraph number 122 or 21.
121, yes.
Progress report 12 April 13. I've quit my job with Dongan's plastic box company. Mr. Dongan instead that it would be better for all concerned if I left. What did I do to make them hate me so? The first I knew of it was when Mr. Dongan showed me the petition. 840 names, everyone connected with the factory except Fanny Gurdon. Scanning the list quickly, I saw at once that hers was the only missing name. All all the rest demanded that I be fired. Fired. Joe, Joe Carp and Frank Riley wouldn't talk to me about it. No one else would either except Fanny. She was one of the few people I'd known who set her mind to something and believed it no matter.
Alright, so simply in progress report number 12, we come counter another problem that happened to Charlie. Right now at the factory of Donegan for Plastic Boxes company, now everyone in the company, everyone demanded that Charlie would be fired, except for only one person, Fanny Gordon. Of course, this happens because now Charlie has changed it. Just imagine if you have a very, very, very dumb employee and he works for cleaning the toilets, and just like that, he becomes a genius, starts fixing the machines, and now you cannot make laugh of him. So they felt like envious. Wow, how did he get so intelligent? So they just felt like envious to him, and by that they all demanded that he will be fired. And just mention that by scanning the names, just like that, he scanned the names and he found all of them except for Miss Fanny Gordon. Of course, he just was wondering, what did I do wrong? Why do they wanna kick me out of the factory? Why? I really do not know. Now it becomes another obstacle, another complexity of the plot. What the rest of the world proved, said the ordered, and Fanny did not believe that I should have been fired. She had been against the petition on principle, and despite the pressure and threats she had held out. So everyone in the factory wants him to be kicked out and be fired from the factory except that woman, because she believed that he did not do anything wrong. So why should he be fired? Which don't mean to say, yeah, she remarked, that I do not think that there is something mighty strong about you, Charlie. Them changes. I don't know. You used to be a good, dependable, ordinary man. Not too pride, maybe, but honest. Who knows what you've done to yourself to get so smart all of a sudden? Like everybody around here is being says, Charlie is not right. So they are just afraid of him because he became so intelligent and so smart. Consequently, they feel that something is wrong about him. He's not right anymore because he became a genius. So who knows what he is capable of doing. But how can you say that, Fanny? What's wrong with a man becoming intelligent and wanting to acquire knowledge and understanding of the world around him? Of course, that was his accusation because I'm getting smarter now. What is the problem? What's wrong? Everyone studies to be smart, everyone wants to be intelligent. So why not I? Why shall not I? I'm just human being like the rest of you. She stared down at her work and turned to leave. Without looking at me, she said, it was evil when Eve listened to the snake and ate from the tree of knowledge. And it was evil when she saw that she was naked. If not for that, none of us would have ever to grow old and sick and die. Of course, all of us know the story of Adam and Eve being in the heaven, and then the Satan camouflaged as a snake and urged them to eat from the apple tree, and by that they were banished to earth, and we started living here. Of course, some Christians think that Eve ate from the tree first, but unfortunately, Adam ate first, and then Eve ate. Then both of them were down from the heaven. So, what is about that? She's trying to tell him that perhaps you're acquiring more knowledge now, but later this knowledge could be an evil one to you. That's why everyone here is trying to get rid of you. Once again, now I have the feeling of shame burning inside me for the second time. This intelligence had driven a wedge between me and all the people I once knew and loved before. They laughed at me and dispensed me for my ignorance and dullness. Now they hate me for my knowledge and understanding. What do they want of me? That's really critical question. What do they really want? If I'm dumb, if I'm stupid, if I'm not capable of understanding, and they are making love of me, they will not love me, and they will just make laugh at me, right? But now, after acquiring knowledge and understanding and becoming intelligent, they still fear me and hate me. So why? Why do they hate me? What do they want of me? Another obstacle is being grown inside Charlie right now, and all of this is putting a pressure upon his mind because he does not understand why are they doing so, especially that he has accepted that operation in order to become smarter so that he can be more friendly with those people. But now all of them, like a sudden, they all hate him. So what do they want? What can we do in order to stop those people from acting like dummies? They have driven me out of the factory. Now I'm more alone than ever before. Progress report number 13, May 15th. That is Sana. Do you have a mic? Ali? Ah, you have a mic, but you don't use it. I forgot. Khalid Al Khalifa. Zuhair.
Yes, teacher.
Khalid, can you please? 129. Dr.
Okay.
Strauss.
Dr. Strauss is very angry at me for not having written any progress reports in 2 weeks. He is justified because the lab is now paying me a regular salary. I told him I was too busy thinking and reading. When I pointed out that writing was such a slow process that it made me impatient with my poor handwriting. He suggested that I learn to type. It's much easier to write now because I can type nearly 75 words a minute.
Wow,
Dr. Strauss continually reminds me if of the need to speak and write simply so that people will be able to understand me.
stop you. So, if you can remember, for the previous one was April 13, and now the next report is after 2 weeks. And of course, Dr. Strauss is angry because Charlie did not write any of the report during the past 2 weeks. Consequently, the man is furious. He needs to follow the operation. What's happening to you? What's going on? I need to know everything about you, especially that we are paying you a regular salary right now. So his alibi was that he was so busy thinking and reading, and when he pointed out that writing was such a slow process that it made me impatient. So now writing for him is a slow process that makes him impatient because he thinks fast but doesn't write so fast. So okay, if you are impatient by writing, you can type. By typing, you will be able to write fastly and type fastly. So he has now the ability to write 75 words a minute, and wow, that's awesome. Dr. Strauss also reminds him to speak and write simply. No, we need to stop here. So Dr. Strauss reminds him to speak and write simply, so that people will be able to understand him. So right now, after acquiring that much information, after reading so much about psychology, about history, about art, about everything, about mathematics, about science, so now he has become a genius and his language that he uses is becoming so hard for people to understand. So he needs to write simply. At the beginning of the the first progress report, he couldn't even write properly, and now his language has become complicated for ordinary people to understand. See, and this proves to us that the operation went well. 130. Okay, Khalid, I'll try.
I will try I will try to review all the things that happened to me during the last 2 weeks. Algernon and I were presented to the American Psychological Association, sitting in convention with the World Psychological Association last Tuesday. We created quite a sensation. Dr. Nemor and Dr. Strauss were proud of us.
Continue.
I suspect that Dr. Nemor, who is 10 years older than Dr. Strauss, finds it necessary to see tangible results of his work. Undoubtedly, the result of pressure by Mrs. Nemor.
All right. So simply in those two paragraphs, he was, along with Algernon, of course, presented to the American Psychological Association. And of course, the American Psychological Association will now measure the advancement that's happened to Charlie and also to Algernon, and by that, they will give the credit to both Dr. Nemor and Dr. Strauss. He suspected that Dr. Nemor, who is 60 and 10 years older than Dr. Strauss, finds it necessary to tangible. Tangible means to substantial or to sustain or to do something or to be able to do something. The result of his work, undoubtedly the result of pressure by Mrs. Nemor, because Mrs. Nemor was urging Dr. Nemor to present the facts about the operation so that he will have the credit and her husband would become a very famous man. Contrary to my early impressions of him, I realized that Dr. Nemor is not at all a genius. Not like I thought at the beginning. He has a very good mind, but it struggles under the specter of self doubt. He wants people to take him for a genius. Therefore, it's important for him to feel that his work is accepted by the world. I believe that Dr. Nemor was afraid of further delay because he worried that someone else might make a discovery along these lines and take the credit for him. So, the, everything about Dr. Nemor was just a big lie. He only seeks fame. He just needs to be famous and that he takes the credit for himself. Dr. Strauss, on the other hand, might be called a genius, although that I feel that his area of knowledge are too limited. He was educated in the tradition of narrow specialization. The broader aspect of background were neglected far more than necessary, even for a neurosurgeon. I was shocked to learn that the only ancient language he could read were Latin, Greek, and Hebrew. Latin, Greek, and Hebrew. And he was shocked, and he's saying the only. Okay, and now we are struggling by learning only two languages. So he was shocked that Dr. Strauss can learn and can read and write for three ancient languages, and that he knew almost nothing of mathematics beyond the elementary level of the calculus of variations. When he admitted this to me, I found myself almost annoyed. It was as if he had hidden his part of himself in order to deceive me, pretending, as do many people I have discovered, to be what he is not. No one I have ever known is what he appears to be on the surface. And that's unfortunately the way it is in our own life. No one, guys, really, no one that we meet is actually what he appears to be on the surface, not what he pretends. Some people pretend that they are genius. Some people pretend that they are capable of performing a task or a job, but beneath that, they do not. They are nothing but deceivers. Dr. Niemer appears to be uncomfortable around me. Sometimes when I try to talk to him, he just looks at me strangely and turns away. I was angry at first when Dr. Strauss told me I was giving Dr. Niemer an inferiority complex. I thought he was mocking me, and I'm oversensitive at being made fun of. How was I to know that a highly respected psycho-experimentalist like Niemer was unacquainted with Hinduism and Chinese? It's absurd when you consider the work that is being done in India and China today in the very field of his study. I asked Dr. Strauss how Niemer could refute Rahimati's attack on his method and results if Numer couldn't even read them the first place. The strange look on Dr. Strauss' face can mean only one of two things. Either he does not want to tell Nemur what they are saying in India, or else, and his worry, this worries me, or Dr. Strauss doesn't know either. So, two things, and both of them are worse than themselves. I must be careful to speak and write clearly and simply so that people won't. Any questions so far about this part?
Sister, I think the
Alright.
period finished.
Okay, that's it for today, grade 8, and see you tomorrow.
Oh, goodbye, teacher.
Goodbye,
Have a nice
Muhammad.
day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you very much.